Hey, what is up, everybody? We are currently in a wildcat. I've got a really nice start. Hopefully, I can get Tucker Craft here. It'd be nice. And welcome, Pepper Tony. Thanks for popping in. And then, yeah, there we go. Hopefully, this guy, he probably won't take Tucker Craft, so that would be good. But I got CMC with Igbuka to fall back and then Kyron to come back around the corner. So this team feels pretty solid right now. This will probably be a team I take a swing on CD Lamb. I like a lot of the scrolls, so I think taking a swing on CD Lamb here makes a lot of sense because if it does come out that he's going to play, we will be this will absolutely not be possible to dupe. So hopefully he does play, and if not, I'm honestly not that worried about it. Now, I don't think I'll get Baker back. I probably should have just taken Baker there for the game stack, but we're going to go for it. I don't mind the Jordan Love with Tucker Craft either. My shirt is. I actually do think three wide receivers. So the way I view it, and I'll go over this a little bit more tonight. I think if you can get two before Kyron, like Taylor, McCaffrey, Jacobs, HN, Genty, Williams, and Kyron, I think you do it every time. And I think after that, it's like 50-50 three wide receiver builds. Like, I don't want to – I want to have some Dowdle. I want to have some Judkins. I will probably mix in some Rashad White. So I will probably do all of those things. But I already do have quite a bit of three wide receiver. And this is actually my work shirt. We got to wear high vis stuff. So that's why on Wednesday nights, I always wear a bright orange shirt. It's not because I love bright orange. Believe it or not. That is not why. Let me get the ducks going. There we go. So after this is done, and let's see. So hopefully top fantasy player takes Sam Darnold here. That would be nice. I was not expecting the Love pick there. I was hoping I was thinking Love would make it back, if not. So that makes sense. I don't mind the Dobbs pick. I think he's a decent scroll right now for sure. And if I don't get Baker, I am perfectly fine. Okay, so he did take Darnold like I was hoping. So we're going to end up with a really nice team here. ADP value. If CD Lamb plays, we're going to have values everywhere. If he does not play, well, then we will probably just go to I kind of like Calvin Ridley as a scroll a lot this week. So we may go to that. We have, here we go. So the team, Baker Mayfield, Igbuka stack with CMC bring back, Kyron Williams, CD Lamb with the Q tag, and Tucker Craft. Not a bad little team, if I may say so myself. Wednesday Orange equals Hidden Love to the Broncos. Absolutely. You caught me. You caught me. I haven't looked at third quarter yet. Based on what happened in second quarter where I had 20% Dowdle and still only advanced 3 teams out of 30, I'm not really – I'll do some. But like Turpin getting like all of the injuries that happened late, like Turpin was the right play the whole time. And then Turpin in week 4 got a mild injury, and then he doesn't play against a matchup that his role got 114 yards and a touchdown, 20 points. So I absolutely dominated that. Had the call there. He has would have another great matchup this week, but is I think he was ruled out already. Let me look. Yeah, he doesn't expect to play this week either. So like, I had 52% on that player. Made a stand. I feel like I was right on the stand, and got absolutely torched because of that. So yeah, we'll go down. I basically lost like 6 teams by less than 2 points. So the teams I'm advancing through aren't bad. Joe Flacco, Justin Fields, Carson Wentz team with Bijan. This is the team I'm excited about. It's a Bijan, Breece Hall, Judkins, Rashad White, Rico team. It has Tyreek though. And then Flowers, Devonta, Addison, Golden, Alec Pierce, Turpin. So I'm out 2 players already this week. Njoku, Mason Taylor. But I do have a unique Bijan. I need serviceable points at wide receiver. Like I don't have a clean team through, I don't think. Justin Fields, Bryce Young, Barkley versus Scadaboo tomorrow night. Dobbins, Swift, will be a little low owned. Dowdle. So this running back room feels really good. McMillan, Wilson, Godwin, Addison, Bateman, Horton. There's the missing piece here. That one's at least not a high value. Kyle Williams. And then Mason Taylor feels really good. Then this team, Stroud, Ward, Caleb Williams. So I got a big Caleb Williams stack in here. Breece Hall, Pollard, Harvey, Jalen Warren. Warren will be low owned as well. Jamar Chase, Nico, Diggs. And then it's a Luther Burden team as well. So Luther, Cedric Tillman. Very nice. That feels good. Kelsey and Okonkwo. So then, like, here's where it starts going bad. Lost by 1.02 points. This one I was 4th. I was a little out on that one. Lost by 3 points. I guess I was a little further away on that one. There was a bunch of them I was only a couple points away. So, okay, this one, lost by 3 or 4 points. That one I was kind of far away from. But I scored 130-ish on a lot of teams. I just ended up having, like, not having Turpin, like the 20 points that Turpin would have got for the Flournoy stuff. Like, that absolutely hurt me quite a bit. My surviving Elam teams have too many. Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, if we want to go to the eliminator for me, like, if we want to, why is it not working? It was basically during my Wednesday stream last week that it dropped. So, I don't know. Let's just go look here. It seems to be a little better. And my games weren't close at all. So this one, Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, Gibbs, Javonte, Braylon, RIP, White, Dowdle, Jacory. Like, my wide receiver or my running backs are awesome. My quarterbacks are awesome. Pickens got DJ Moore through. DJ Moore golden team. So I got both of them through with Debo, Cup, Diami, another Turpin team, and then McBride and Dalton Kincaid. The other team I got through, Fields May, Derrick Henry, RIP, like basically, Brees, Judkins, Tootin, Montgomery, Giddens. Like, I feel like that's fine. Another team with a dead wide receiver up top, Malik Neighbors, Garrett Wilson, Steph Diggs, Shaheed, QJ, Palmer, and Wicks. So I'm fine there. Like, basically, my entire portfolio is completely toast because I had a bunch of Neighbors, a bunch of James Conner, a bunch of Eckler, a ton of Amari and Hampton. So, like, it's not looking good on my end. I am not going to lie about that. And I was sharing the wrong tab. So, there you go. Here's that team that has the Neighbors there. Ferguson, Taylor, Higbee feels fine. And then this one, Gibbs, Javonte, Braylon. So, like, this one feels the best because my wide receivers are fully intact. Like, I don't really count Turpin that much as a negative. On second quarters, I do because I pinpointed the good matchup, and it was correct. And I'm sorry for anybody who followed me along with that. So, the injury kind of came up on us. Second quarter, I got Bijan, Cook, Pollard, Stevenson, Marks. Hell yeah. That feels good. Wonder when they show the advancing team for – yeah, I don't know. They'll have to do it probably – they have to do it by tomorrow morning, right? But I'm going to assume it'll be within the next 2 hours that happens. But first things first, we are – why did they change all this stuff? There we go. Okay. That looks better. We're going to look through the DraftKings slate, kind of go over all the positions, what I think is a good play, what I think is a bad play, build a team. The team I built last week on stream ended up cashing. It didn't get high in the numbers, but it did cash, and it was basically another Bryce Young touchdown plus Tet McMillan, 2 Tet McMillan touchdown away from being like a 190 team. I think it was like a 168 or 170 team or something like that. Allegedly, it's after scoring corrections are official on Wednesdays. Got it. I mean, that makes sense. Because for them, all they do is push – I'm sure all they do is push a button and it randomizes everything and builds it, right? But they just want to make sure that they don't have to like go backwards because why would you want to tell somebody they won money? Because it's not official yet, right? As soon as they click the button, it's official. All right, so we got Q-Tag Lamar, 7,000. Baker, second highest, 6,600. Dak, 6,500. Matt Stafford is absolutely dealing. Like, we've all thought for a while that he doesn't have a ceiling, but he's put up 30 points the last 2 weeks. That offense is absolutely cooking. Herbert, he started running a lot more. He had 60 rushing yards last week. He got 24 the week before. Then only 1 week that he hasn't hit his rushing prop, for those of you who do props. I'm assuming that next week it'll be similar. His prop was like 15 yards last week. I always look at his prop, usually bet it. The Jordan Love versus Green Bay, I'm taking quite a bit of it in BR stuff. I don't know how often I'll get there here. I will probably, of my 20, like I'm definitely in on some Stafford doubles. Like I think if you play Stafford, you do doubles. And I think Kyron counts as one of the pass catching targets this year, which we will get into. I like the Drake May price. I'm going to play the Bryce Young stack until it hits. I'm not going to recommend anybody else to do it, but like last week he only had 14 fantasy points, but like he still had 2 touchdowns. The problem is he had an interception and I believe a fumble, right? Yeah, and a fumble lost. So that's minus 4 points. So without the negative stuff, he had 18 points, which isn't great. He generally runs a little bit. He didn't run at all in this game, which is wild because of Miami. But he's got another awesome matchup. And this one, they did come back and actually win the game here against Miami. I do think that if you're gonna do something against the Cowboys, passing is generally better. So I'm gonna put 3 to 4 of my teams of my 20 in on Bryce Young again. I do think that the week it hits, it's going to be what you need. That's kind of why I'm going to stay with it. McMillan still hasn't got his touchdown. He's like, and we'll get to McMillan when we get there, because every week he just proves that he is an awesome player. They're just not targeting him in the red zone for some reason. Aaron Rodgers, I will absolutely not look at. Geno Smith, absolutely not. Trevor Lawrence versus Seattle. I'm not going to make any lineups with him right now, but if it comes out like Saturday that Devin Witherspoon's not playing and the other corner is questionable or limited or whatever, I do think you could mix in some T-Law versus Seattle. I kind of think that Seattle's defense is pretty good. I don't think they're going to be able to run on them very well. Brian Thomas finally kind of looked like Brian Thomas a little bit this week, not like fully. But I do think that there is upside there. I'm not going to slam that in. I think he's an okay pick. Mac Jones has a proper price this week in case Purdy doesn't go and he's healthy. I think Justin Herbert is probably the chalk play of the slate. You get Miami. Once again, I haven't looked at the prices of the wide receivers, but I'm going to assume all three are very similar in price again. I would also assume that McConkey went up above QJ this week. And Alvin Kamara hurt his ankle in practice. We will get to that for sure. But yeah, I don't mind Dak versus Carolina at price. I really like this San Francisco-Tampa Bay game. If you get the San Francisco pieces playing, Pearsall's already not expecting to play. He's not officially out yet, but he doesn't expect to play. That feels a little bad. And I don't think, especially after what the Rams did last week, or allowed the Niners to do last week, I don't think the Bucs are going to fall into that same thing. I think the game script will go a lot different. I could see the Bucs kind of being ahead the whole time, but if Purdy and Jennings play, I think this game could be very, very fun. I was really hoping that Pearsall would play, but that's looking very unlikely. On the Jordan Love stuff, if Joe Flacco can get the offense to kind of move a little bit, I think Love's a fine play. But for the most part, I'm going to try to play Green Bay only through either Tucker Kraft and Josh Jacobs and kind of avoid the wide receivers. So we got Daniel Jones, probably an okay pick, but I'm going to view that game as I don't think Arizona's very good. I don't think the Colts are going to have to pass that much. I would honestly just rather have Drake May naked over Daniel Jones this week, which is weird because Drake May also didn't really rush last week. He's not rushed the last 2 weeks. And they've won both of those games. And I do think that in both of those games are games Diggs has been back and actually kind of healthy. So I wonder if we're going to see him rush less. I'm not going to say it's a definite thing, but it is on my radar to keep an eye out on that as well. I think Tua is in a very, very good spot this week. And I don't like Tua. So that's saying a lot. I think that game may just be a gigantic shootout. The Chargers defense is looked at as a very, very good defense, but the last 2 weeks they've let teams kind of walk all over them. I know Miami isn't necessarily as good as the Commanders, but they're probably a better offense than the Giants, right? So, and maybe Tyreek, like the team seemed to function more without Tyreek on the field last week, which maybe that is more of a story of Carolina's defense, and I'm going to assume that that's the case. But they did seem to kind of have everything together last week. Darren Waller was on limited snaps. He was supposed to have 30. He had 32. That number is supposed to go up this week. Not sure what it's supposed to go up to. So the Tua stuff is very interesting if you like some Chargers. I won't have any Spencer Rattler. I could see why you would want to go there. I think Cam Ward may be interesting this week versus the Raiders defense. The Raiders defense is very, very bad. If I'm going to take a very low price guy, I mean, I guess Joe Flacco. I didn't realize Joe Flacco is 4,000. So Joe Flacco at 4,000 is definitely playable. I will definitely build a team like that. Like, we will go ahead, and that is what we're going to look at for the first team. We're going to do Joe Flacco with a Josh Jacobs. But we'll kind of go through all the players while we're doing this. So Josh Jacobs, 7,300. That feels fine versus Cincinnati defense. Jonathan Taylor, 8,500. I think that JT and CMC are properly priced. A-Chain, you're getting a discount because you didn't get there last week. Bucky, even if he comes back, he won't be 100%. I will have zero Bucky no matter what, even though I do kind of like that game. Genty at 6,900 feels very, very good. But you also have Javonte at 6,400 versus the Panthers. The Panthers have sneakily had a good rush defense. So I'm going to have it, but I'm not going to jam it. Kyron Williams versus the Ravens. After Blake Corum getting relegated to the abyss, absolutely shadow-realmed. I think that they're just going to run Kyron into the ground next week. I think they'll get up early. Kyron will be out there the entire second half. At 6,300 versus the worst defense in the league, I think that this could be the best play. Yeah, I mean that's a good way to look at it. You're basically saving. Like, I would not be shocked at all if Jacobs has 80 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 catches for 20 yards, right? Which would be what, 23, 24 points, something like that, like, which is well worth the 7,300 price tag there. I think Henry's game scripted out. I think that he could be low owned leverage. Like, if late in the week it comes out that the Q tag for Lamar is that he actually does end up playing, I do think that makes Derrick Henry interesting. But if he doesn't play, I think Derrick Henry is unclickable. Like, you're never going to get 6,200 Derrick Henry, right? But even with a hampered Lamar, their defense is still really bad. The Rams are probably going to score at will. So I don't love the game script for Henry, even if Lamar is out there. Kenneth Walker, we all know what he is. They are splitting carries to some extent with him and Sharps. They're giving both of them goal line carries. It's just that Sharps has performed better with them. Arroyo missed the block to cause Walker not to get in. Oh yeah, and I always forget about the 100-yard bonuses, David. Yeah, so you get the 100-yard rushing bonus as well, which is one reason why JT feels so good every week. Like, he's hit it twice. But I mean, he should have hit it 3 times because he should have had a 54-yard touchdown in this game where A.D. Mitchell blocked. But Josh Jacobs hasn't hit 100 yards yet. But, like, those are, other than Dallas, pretty strongish like, Washington's defense isn't great, but they're okay. They're better than Cincinnati's, that's for sure. The Achane play, I was surprised that he got 7 targets last week, 6 receptions. The week before when Tyreek Hill went out, they like shelled up and just ran the ball, but they were quite a bit ahead of the Jets at that point. I do think the rest of the season that we're going to see more of the 7 to 10 target range for Achane. And this game profiles as one that I'm going to assume they're going to be behind a lot of the game and need to pass the ball more, which honestly, to me, increases the upside of Achane. I still, of the top 3 players, or the top 4 with Jacobs, I still think Achane is the 4th player pretty easily to me. And like cost effective, I like Genty way more than Achane for sure. And Javonte and Kyron. So I will probably take an Achane team when I build out, like maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it all plays out. Rachaad White, I'm going to assume Bucky doesn't play this week. And if he doesn't, 6,000 for Rachaad White feels good. Judkins' matchup isn't great versus the Steelers, but he kind of feels matchup proof at this point. I think no matter what the matchup is or how bad you think the Browns' offense is, when he gets the ball, the team seems to perform well. They seem to block okay, and he seems to make things happen. So he is very close to having a gigantic, like an enormous week, right? He's got a 16-point, like this one he was on basically no practice. And then for the entire preseason too, right? Then he comes in for 16.5, 21.5, and then 16.8. So I do think, and Jerome Ford, I believe, is hurt, correct? Let's look up Jerome Ford. He'll be... Was he hurt or not? No, he was not. Why was I thinking that? I don't know. Disregard that. But I really do like Judkins this week to mix in. Like not to make a stand on him, but I think you want to be at field like 10 to 12% or something on Judkins on your teams. I think he's a player that you want to make sure you definitely mix in. If Chuba doesn't go, and it's looking like he's not going to go at this point because he didn't practice today, Dowdle is an absolute smash at 5,800. We just seen him break the slate last week. I'm not going to be incredibly overweight because it is still Rico Dowdle, and this is also the revenge game. Remember when Dallas came out and said that they just like Javonte Williams better than Rico Dowdle? I'm going to guess that revenge is going to be pretty sweet. So I will definitely be mixing him in. I will probably be about 25 to 30% on Rico Dowdle. I love a good revenge narrative. I don't know about the rest of you. Jaylen Warren was seen at practice today, if I remember right. Yep. And that's just going to make me not want either one of those players. Pollard gets in the end zone for the first time, has a good matchup, but they have said that they want to use Tajay Spears a little more. I'm probably going to avoid that. The only player on Tennessee I want is maybe Cam Ward. Honestly, Gunnar Helm, I haven't seen what his price is. This is my first look. And I guess I did one Monday morning and just kind of wanted to see what a Bryce Young team looked like. I just clicked some names. I basically put a placeholder in there. I basically wanted to make sure I got my entry in to update later for the single entry. So I just went ahead and did that. Hassan Haskins, probably going to be the starting RB. Like the one that's going to get the goal line carries. He has the narrative um, with Harbaugh from back at Michigan. They did sign, who was it? Naheem Hines, who to the practice squad. So right now it's going to be those two, and they might call Naheem Hines up. We will see if that happens. Charbonnet, I will never touch. I don't think he has a ceiling as long as Kenneth Walker is on the field. He's got 3 12-point games, but if you're playing in a GPP, you probably have zero interest in a 12-point game. Like none at all. Like that is his upside. At most, it would be like a 15-point game. That's not going to win you one of these tournaments. Stevenson, I feel the same way. Like, he's not going to be breaking off the big runs or anything. I don't think. Henderson is the guy for that if you want, but like, they just don't seem to trust him at all. I think that both of those are fine to mix in. If you need the salary savings, I do think that those are two of the better picks that you have on the slate. And you just kind of choose which one you want. They do seem to sub out Henderson for Stevenson in the red zone. So I think that may just be what they do. Is like, and this is not a guarantee, but it kind of feels like Henderson may be there from the 20 to 20, and then Stevenson at the goal line to steal all the, like, to make none of them useful. Kendre Miller at 4,700 is pretty interesting considering the Alvin Kamara ankle injury. And there's some stuff coming out of New Orleans about Kamara as well, about how he wants to retire a Saint, and if he's traded, he may just hang it up. Like, I guess Nick Underhill said that. He's pretty tuned in with the Saints. I don't buy it, but especially if he goes to a team with a chance to win a Super Bowl, like the Chargers, the Chiefs, somebody like that. Yeah, he got it 2 weeks ago, and then Stevenson's fumbled twice since then. And they just continue to give the ball to Stevenson in high-pressure situations. Which that's why everybody was so hyped on Henderson for last week, right? Because we seen them finally use him in the red zone like they did in the preseason where he started looking really good. So I do think there's a big week coming. I'm not going to have zero Travion, but it's going to feel really bad at the end of the week when I have a team that's got 180 points and it's got Travion Henderson in there for 7 points, and I chose to not play Dowdle over him, right? And then Dowdle has 31 points again, right? And then that would have got me up near the top. Like, that's going to feel really bad when that happens on the only team I put him on, but I'm here for it. Oh, believe me, had him started Flitty. Yeah, it really, really was. It was as tilting as it possibly could be. It used to be, but we kind of went over that a little bit ago. Like, he didn't really run last week in the red zone at all. And since Diggs has been back in running a decent amount of routes, he's actually, since Diggs has been a serviceable player, his rushing's been down. I don't believe that's actually connected, but it is something I am going to monitor. All right, so back down here, looking at the dumpster diving, I don't mind Kendre Miller. I think Tajay Spears is a fine click for the 4,500. I don't think any of those names interest me at all. Trevor Etienne, not interesting me at all. Sorry. Blake Corum has been shadow realmed. Michael Carter, if you think that game's going to stay mildly close, I do think that points per dollar, he could be fine. He had 18 points last week in a game that, I mean, number one, if that DeMarcado run, if it was Michael Carter in the game, Michael Carter would have had 27 points, right? And the Cardinals would have won the game. So, shout out to Charles there. So I'm going to guess that DeMarcado doesn't get that chance this week, but we'll see what happens there. So the plays I like at running back, I love Jacobs. I really, really like Genty's price, and I love Kyren Williams. I think is the best price on the board, honestly. And then Rachaad White feels pretty solid if Bucky doesn't play. Shout out to Orville Loss. Thanks. Hey, no problem. I'm a Chiefs fan. I can't say much. Mahomes drives down and throws the pass directly to a linebacker. And when Tua does it, he's the worst quarterback in the league. And when Mahomes does it, it doesn't matter because he's already yelled at the ref about 1 yard, right? So he's clean. Nothing happens to him. It's okay because he's already yelled at the refs. So everything's right in the world. But yeah, we got and I do agree, it was within 1 yard, but it's pretty funny that it was so obvious that's what they were trying to do. So I'm probably going to, I honestly think this is a week you could splice in a few more 3 wide receiver builds. I don't love a lot of the values down here. The values I like are kind of up here closer to the top. So all of these games are going to be 3:00 games, it looks like. So if I flex a running back, which would be Dowdle, it would be 5,800. But we'll look into that more. Now we're going to go through the wide receivers. You can't put a high enough price on Puka Nacua. No matter his price, which one of these weeks are you not going to pay 8,700 for? I'll wait. Puka Nacua is just the guy to click. JSN is getting close to that too. He had one bad week, but 23, 21, 20, and 30.2. He is very, very consistent. The Jags, as I said last week, Kansas City, the way to beat the Jags is on the outside receivers. JSN is doing that this year. I think JSN can absolutely pop in this game and be wide receiver 1. I really do like Puka is wide receiver 1. I'm just saying I think that JSN has a very solid chance to get up there for a gigantic game. Egbuka, it's very hard to argue. Since Evans has been out, he's been targeted a ton. He's pretty much got there on touchdowns every single week. He's a rookie, 5 weeks, 5 touchdowns. He's got 2 100-yard games, and it's been the last 2, which means that it's probably not going away. Godwin, after the 10 targets week 1, got less targets this week. So, and I do think that Egbuka is just going to be wide receiver 1 for them the rest of the season. It definitely feels like that. So the Puka matchup is also awesome. Just like the Kyren thing, I love the matchup of the Rams. I think you fit one Ram into every lineup. I think you put Puka, Kyren, or Devontae Adams in every single lineup you make. That's going to be a rule that I have. For the most part, I'm going to make sure one Ram is in every lineup. Jamar Chase, I don't love this price, but if you couple that price with Joe Flacco at 4,000, you're basically saving 800 to 900 at quarterback there. So that puts him down around Pickett's range, right? If you want to look at it that way. So I think if you're stacking Flacco Chase, I think it does make sense. I think it is worth it dollar-wise. But if you're just straight up taking Chase, I don't like it, if that makes any sense. The only stat correction posted so far, Cam. Nice. Mike Evans is already out. George Pickens, another really good matchup. They don't really move J.C. Horn around the field, so they should be able to get whatever matchup they want with Pickens. It could be a pretty good game for Pickens. Brian Thomas, as we said before, kind of showing what he was. I'm very interested in Thomas if Witherspoon doesn't play. Waddle looked like the Waddle from 2 years ago last week. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, 6,100 feels fine. Ted is absolutely going to hit some week, and when he does, it's going to be awesome. Steph Diggs is probably the value of the slate. Like, I hadn't seen this yet, but Steph Diggs looks awesome. 5,800 for Steph Diggs. Like, 19.1, then 27 points. He was coming off of an injury down here. He's starting to use more and more of the so he was in for 66% of the snaps, but he was in for 77% of the routes. So they are kind of taking him off the field in more run, like for sure run situations. But that's because he's been playing in the slot a lot, I believe. I'm going to sign up for Fantasy Points here soon, and I'll have the actual stats on that stuff for everybody. But by watching the game, he was definitely in the slot quite a bit. Jacoby Myers doesn't get there for like the first time. That's 2 weeks in a row. Like, Geno Smith has destroyed Jacoby Myers as a fantasy asset. I know Tennessee has been a get-right spot for a lot of teams. I don't know how I like it. I will probably full fade Jacoby Myers this week. I do think T. Higgins at 5,700 is interesting. Not sure if I'm going to click it, but that is interesting. So QJ is still 5,900, and McConkey went up to 5,700. So McConkey and Allen swapped prices, and QJ stayed the same. What do you think about this trade in a Superflex League, says Chado? Just Jefferson and Jaden Daniels for Egbuka and Justin Fields. I'm assuming it's a dynasty, but I don't think it matters. I think the Jefferson-Jaden side won pretty easily. I would absolutely take the Jefferson-Jaden side. I don't think it's close. I think you got both best players in the trade. That's how I view it. I think Jaden's the better quarterback, obviously. I think Jefferson's the better wide receiver. If it's a full dynasty, I could see liking Egbuka over Jefferson. I'm not going to be there. I mean, I guess you do have, like, Baker is going to be there for a little while as well, right? But I think I just like the Jefferson Daniels side in my eyes. All right, going down a little further into the wide receiver group. I'm not going to touch Marvin Harrison until, like, Jacoby Brissett may be starting. I'm probably going to be completely out on him. Oh, it's redrafts? Yeah. Yeah, I do think in redraft, Egbuka has more of an argument against Jefferson. I still want Jefferson, but, like, just based on current production, right? Like, it definitely feels. Oh, Egbuka, Judkins, and Fields. I don't know how I missed Judkins in there. Yeah, I think that's a pretty close trade. I do like the Jefferson and Daniel side, though. Yeah, but they said they really want to get the ball to him this time. Yeah, we've heard it before, and they did for the first quarter and the first drive of the second quarter last week. Like, Give me Matthew Golden of 5,000, who's not done anything yet, but has flashed potential, versus trusting Marvin Harrison actually gets there. I like Calvin Ridley a lot this week. At 4,900, I will probably be jamming him. I will once again not have very much Chris Olave. I think Shaheed's just the better wide receiver at this point. I kind of felt that way in pre-draft as well. Like, I thought that they were very equal receivers. So I didn't get to a lot of Olave, and I got to quite a bit of Shaheed. That feels pretty good. Travis Hunter is a nice buy low dart down here as well. Shaheed, 4,600 feels really good. Josh Downs at 4,300 also feels okay. Torrey Horton at 4,100 could be fun. I don't think I get there, but I think if you're down in this area, Jalen Coker, by the way, may play this week. He was a full practice today. I am very excited about that. And at this point, I'm hoping Brock Purdy doesn't play because I've done one dog bowl. And in that one dog bowl, I took Brock Purdy, Ricky Pearsall, and Pearsall is going to be out. I still have the swap available to Juwan Jennings if Jennings plays. But if Jennings doesn't play and Brock does play, then I have nothing. But I would like to swap to Bryce Young, Jalen Coker, if not. Because Bryce Young Leggett is out there if I have to. But Jalen Coker would be the play I would much rather make. And I think it'd be very, very low owned. Io Manor at 3,900 feels fine versus the Raiders. Like, I actually think Cam Ward double stacks, actually. Let's actually look at that real quick, because that's going to leave a lot of money on the table. The Raiders have been pretty bad, right? So if you just double stack these guys, throw in the top defense. I'll look at defenses later, but throw in the top defense and throw in the top tight end. That leaves you 6,800 per player for your last wide receiver, your two RBs, and your flex. Like, I think, and probably not going to take the best tight end there, right? Like, let's say you go down to a value tight. Let's just say it's AJ Barner. Now you're already at 7,300, which allows you to do the bam, bam. Let's just do all of it. Yeah. Like, you could get all those players. Like, yeah, your flex is really low, but you can still move this down. Take a low on defense. All right. Let's just assume that the Browns defense is good. Gives you 4,900 for the flex still. And this is a team I put together on a whim. Kendre Miller, by the way, I know I said earlier I kind of like it. New England's rush defense is actually really good. So, I don't know, Shaheed here, something like that. Like, and that was without thinking about anything. That's with Jonathan Taylor, McCaffrey, and Puka. You have a double stack there. I actually think you remove the Puka, go to Genty for the bring back, right? So you take the Genty there, and that should give you enough for Devontae. Yep, there you go. This is the team right here. Cam Ward team. You got Cam Ward, Io Manor, Ridley double stack, the Genty bring back. It's in Vegas. He's also, that also gives you the swap option, the afternoon swap. You get Taylor CMC, and then you have a solid tight end, a solid defense. Like, a team like this looks really fun. But we'll go ahead and go over the rest of the receivers. I just got a little excited whenever I seen Io Manor plus Ridley that cheap. like the Cam Ward, Io Manor, Ridley stuff, that is a lot of money you stay on the field. Let's say you don't like that, you can go over here. Gunnar Helms 2,700 leaves you another 4,800 receiver, right? So you could move on to Shaheed or something. So there's a bunch of ways you could do that. The Raiders defense has not been very good. Let's look up. All right, so the Raiders this year, 20 points to the Chargers, 41, 25 to the Bears, 40 to the Colts. I know the Titans offense isn't great, but the lowest amount of points has been put up is 20 points. And let's be honest, actually, it was 13 to the Patriots on opening day. I remember that game because neither team wanted to move the ball. So that one, it wasn't good defense. And the Titans kind of played with a little extra last week. And Cam Ward didn't look that bad. I'm not saying that Cam Ward is a great play, but I think a value play, like if what you need is a JT McCaffrey team, this is a way to get to it, is to use one of these, a Cam Ward swap or a Cam Ward stack like that. All right, so Xavier Legette, 3,900, doesn't feel great. And Coker is already more expensive, even after the Legette first game that was something. I don't think anybody has heard. But yeah, I've not personally heard anything about it. And it's not on DraftKings. It's only on Underdog, which is even more weird. I do think if CD Lamb plays, he's in a really, really good spot too at 7,500. I did kind of gloss over that. So let's look all the way at the bottom here. Ashton Dulin at 3,100. If Pierce doesn't play, that is something that is a very, very low owned option, like a very cheap option that is probably worth playing. Pierce did practice today, but he's not been cleared for the game yet. Turpin is going to be out. Jalen Tolbert done nothing with his extra stuff. Where is Flournoy? So Flournoy is 3,600. Yeah, I do know that he's not practicing yet. And speaking of Strange, the other Strange, Britton Strange, is officially on IR, which is awful. Yeah, so you could, I guess, take Malik Washington, Wicks, Isaiah Bond. Some of those, I'm not going to take these players. Tutu Atwell has a chance to get there any week. I kind of want to stay out of this range under Io Manor, basically, is kind of where I'm at here. I think that's the lowest I want to go. Looking at tight end, McBride, 5,500. Ferguson, 53. Both feel fine. Warren still being disrespected, 4,900. I think Tucker Kraft's the best play at tight end at 4,700. Of the top guys. Hunter Henry has a really good matchup too at 4,300. Darren Waller only 4,000 after his insane. He was only on the field for 32 snaps. He's put up 17 and 18. If you give me 18 points for my $4,000 tight end, I can make that work, right? Yeah. Oh yeah, like I honestly think the winning BBM team this year, like, is going to end up having at least 2 players on IR by the time we get there. Like, it just doesn't. I think 14 or not on IR, but out week 17 of the 14 or 14 of the top 48 players drafted on ADP have missed time already this season. So, and that's just the top 48. So it was an absolute minefield. And then the rounds 5 and 6, or 6 and 7 were really bad too, because that's where Joe Mixon was going for a long time. That's where James Conner was going. That's where, Hampton started there. Pearsall, Jawan Jennings. So like the list just keeps growing and growing and growing. I'm sure I'm missing some names. Terry McLaurin was a top 48 guy as well. All right, so back to this. We were at Kraft, Henry, Waller. I've seen some bullish stuff on Mark Andrews for this week. I'm not going to buy it. Jake Tonjes feels very fine. I do think that Tampa just gave up 2 touchdowns to or 20 fantasy points to AJ Barner. So I think, and Tonjes just had about that. He's had 14 and 17 in back-to-back games. I don't think it's a fluke at this point. I think he's fine. I think he's a fine player. And Njoku and Fannin, I do assume one of these two probably leads the Brown in fantasy points, other than Judkins. I'm not going to touch any of the Browns receivers, but I think both Fannin and Njoku are very clickable this week. Cade Otton finally done something this year. To me, the fact that they worked him in a lot more and didn't use Godwin after the 10 reception or 10 target game that wasn't successful, and then Godwin had 26 yards in like the first quarter and then never got another yard last week. So I'm wondering if maybe he was hampered. I don't know what happened there. I never heard anything about it, but it is a little odd. Jonnu, I'm not going to get there. It does make some sense. Taysom Hill, 3,000. He went in the game for 9 snaps. He touched the ball 7 times on those 9 snaps. Austin Hooper, live for a touchdown at random times. But I'm not going to get there. Tommy Tremble back down to 2,600. Jatavian Sanders, is he practicing? So Sanders may be back. That is why. So if both of them are playing, I don't want either one of them. The players down here, Hunter Long, that's a scroll down option you could take. If you want a complete Hail Mary, Hunter Long would be that guy. He's 2,500, and the guy in front of him just went on IR. I'm probably not going to get there, but I am going to think about that. If you're just popping in, please smash the like as well. And if you are new to the channel, think about subbing. It'd be great. Great for me. So defenses. You got the Packers versus the Bengals. That line was set before Joe Flacco was there, but Joe Flacco has been known to throw pick sixes too. So the Bengals offensive line is horrible. And the Green Bay Packers have an awesome pass rush. So I think that they're a very solid. I think that the top 2 should be the top 2. If Lamar doesn't play, the Rams make sense up here as well. The Chargers versus Miami, I don't know if I'll get there. We got Colts versus Arizona. feels like that could be a very smash spot, in my opinion. Sorry, Charles, but if Jacoby Brissett is playing, that's going to make them a little worse. And they can't seem to get their offense running with Kyler Murray. So and the Colts defense is kind of underrated right now. So I don't hate that as a defense. The Raiders versus Tennessee, I don't think it, like, I know this shows a Cam Ward team here. I actually don't mind the Raiders versus defense versus Cam Ward because Max Crosby does get in there and screw things up all the time. Cam Ward is a rookie quarterback, so it does make sense that to take them. I will be mixing this one in, I think, a little bit. Obviously not on Cam Ward teams. So the other one, I won't have any of the Cowboys. I might mix in the Patriots. They have an awesome special teams. The Saints have been a different team at home, though, on the indoor turf. So, like, I'm probably not going to get the Patriots, but I don't think they're a bad defense to take. We got the Bucks versus San Francisco. That one's obviously okay if they tried out what they did last week with Mac Jones or even Adrian. Like, if Adrian is it Martinez? Yeah. If Adrian Martinez has to start because Purdy's hurt and Mac Jones is hurt and Pearsall is out and Jawan Jennings is out, and Kittle is definitely out, like, I will be jamming some Bucks in for sure. I probably won't touch the Jags versus Seattle, although they continue to just get turnovers after turnovers. I don't they have 14 turnovers on the year, I think. So, like, mixing them in makes some sense. Seattle, like, Trevor Lawrence is known for turnovers too, so that seems fine. Will not touch the Cardinals. Will not touch the Niners. Won't touch the Saints. Won't touch the Titans. Won't touch the Panthers. Dolphins, I won't touch them. Won't touch the Ravens. Won't touch the Bengals. So these bottom 8 teams I'm not going to touch. You could argue that the Niners at 2,500 makes some sense. And the Browns are down here at 2,500. I don't hate that one. I think this is a team where you could go like Seahawks. I just threw the Browns in to save some points. So, like, you could go Seahawks here. I don't have anything that is negatively correlated there. But, yeah, as far as the defenses go, I kind of like the middle here. I kind of like the Colts quite a bit. I like taking a shot or two on the Raiders. I'm not going to have a lot of the Raiders, but I will have a shot or two in there. I don't mind the Browns. The more I talked about it, I do actually kind of like the Jags a little bit. If I'm not taking JSN or Horton, I do, or I actually like AJ Barner a bit. So sorry about that. I think I just popped my mic. My knuckle hit it. But yeah, I kind of like the Colts the most this week. And the Bucks the most if it goes worst case scenario over there. I think there's a decent argument for a lot of the defenses other than the Ravens, the Bengals, the Dolphins, the Panthers, the Titans. I mean, even the Titans, you can argue. That defensive line, like, honestly, if they get their that tackle back this week, what was his name? I can't remember his name, but It was defensive tackle, the other one. Like, because Justin Simmons is in. The other one, who they drafted last year, it's second round pick. I can argue. Yeah, like I'm probably not going to get to taking the Titans. I think it's an absolute smash spot for Ashton Genty. I really do. So, but like I'm not going to get to the Cardinals. Like I think it's silly to play any defense versus the Colts right now with the way that they're moving the ball. Yeah, I'm taking my rankings right now are Genty, Puka, then CMC. I've started, and then Josh Jacobs. I've started taking CMC over Puka just because I had zero CMC doing that. But I want 25% JT. Like that's where I'm at. That's what I want. So this, I might change this around a little bit. I like this is just a value lineup. Like I was showing you what you can do if you want to do a Calvin Ridley, Gunnar Helm lineup, because Gunnar Helm actually doesn't look bad. If he tops in a touchdown on top of this, like that's a 14-point week at 2,700. That's a good number, right? And if you're going to play Titans, if you want to believe in Cam Ward, I do think this is the week to believe in Cam Ward. Like if we look, I don't know, it doesn't show what the future schedule is. I will look that up real quick. So future schedule, they play the Patriots and then the Colts and then the Chargers and then the Texans. So like, not like those defenses get a lot easier. So I do think that if you're wanting to play some Cam Ward in DK, I do think this is the week to do it. And I think it lines up very well with a Genty bringback. I just think it's a very well put out thing there. And you can go ahead and like remove these players. And like I said, I think you want to ram in every lineup. And I was also saying that I kind of like Jacobs at price a lot. And I like Kyron at price a lot. So we're actually going to change this up a little bit. My DFS QBs are Drake, Bryce, Indiana Jones. I actually like. I've already went over what I think are usable. I think Baker Mayfield is usable. I think Stafford is very, very usable. Stafford double stacks feel pretty solid. But then I like Bryce Young, and I don't like the Joe Flacco at 4,000 if he does start, and I believe he is starting. Yeah, okay, he will start. So, like Joe Flacco at 4,000 as a one-off feels interesting. So if I do that, I can actually tier up I could tier up to the Colts defense and actually, maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe Darren Waller. Like I was talking up these guys. So we'll take it in Njoku there, and then defense, special teams. We'll take the Bucks. And I will probably change this lineup. I will almost definitely change that lineup in the future. But that's just one. This is the other lineup I've made. And I kind of done it on a whim as well. But it was a big Bryce Young. Like, it's a double tight end build. Bryce Young, Tet, with Javonte Williams and Ferguson here. I could probably move off Ferguson, honestly. I just kind of, like I said, this was the single entry, and I just threw something in to reserve my thing. But Josh Jacobs, Javonte, Puka, Tet, Josh Downs, Rams defense versus Baltimore. I think the Rams defense versus Baltimore feels very, very good. Flacco can't be a one-off. Yeah, like that's what I was talking about that. Like, if you look at Jamar Chase's price, 7,700 is too much. But if you couple the $4,000 quarterback with the double stack of Jamar Chase plus T. Higgins, because T. Higgins is way down here, right? Like he's like 4,700. Where's T at? Oh, he's at 5,700. So if you go 4,000, 7,700, and that, like, I say Tet or BTJ every lineup. I will get to some BTJ. I'm not going to get there every lineup BTJ, though. I do think he's a fine click right now, but I would 100% rather get to Devontae Adams. If I can get to Devontae Adams over Brian Thomas, I'm going to take Devontae Adams every single time. If I don't have Puka. So I want one of Puka, Adams, or Kyron on every team. But yeah, like this is the other lineup I made. I'll probably end up going away from that. Yeah, I don't actually like this lineup a whole lot. Like I said, I just put it in as a placeholder. We can move. Because there's a lot of money in this lineup right here. I kind of like Rashid Shaheed, like I mentioned before. And this could just be a 3 wide receiver build. I think the 3 wide receiver stuff feels a little better this week than it has in the past. With some Matthew Golden. We'll change that up a little bit. Yeah, and the Dowdle revenge game, we definitely went over that. I think Dowdle is a very, very good pick right now, assuming that assuming we don't end up with Chuba playing. So I'm going to enter a Wildcat, and I'm going to enter in 5 seconds. I switched gears on you. Sorry, everybody. We're going to probably do 2, maybe 3 of these, and then I'm going to log out. Tonight, I am going to be live on Fanspeak Network. I will post that link before I leave. And after the Fanspeak Network, I will be live again on my channel. Candyman and Hartman will both be on. We're going to do our weekly start sit and game preview stuff that we're going to start doing every Wednesday night. Get a little bit of back and forth, though. It'll be less of just me spitballing and a little bit of back and forth with, and probably better overall content, honestly, like ping-ponging ideas off each other, helping people with start sits, stuff like that. You think I'm cooked if I drafted an inch of Trey Harris? Think he'll be relevant? I don't think you're cooked with anything with how many injuries we have right now. Like, unless you have a currently injured player, I think you're fine. I got so both players I let people talk me into have been horrific picks. Not saying that all of my picks were good, but I let people talk me into taking more Caleb Williams, and I let people talk me into taking more Trey Harris. And both of those are 2 of the worst picks that's been on the board. So Um, so like I don't feel great about that. Um, yeah, like I mean, all of my teams look pretty dead because I have 17% Hampton, I have 16% Eckler, I have I had 10% Malik Neighbors, I have 13% James Conner. I only had 2% Tyreek Hill, so that one 2.8. That one worked out. But like all of the players that have been hurt, I was well above the field on. So it's not looking good for me. At least Hampton is supposed to come back. Joe Burrow, I didn't have a lot of Joe Burrow, but I had 9.8% Jamar Chase and I had 11% T. Higgins. So that kind of is the same thing. So my BR strategy is if I can get 2 running backs by Genty, I do it. If not, I entertain 3 wide receivers. So Genty does come back. So I will take Genty and I will take Devontae Adams here. I've done 20 of these. I have 40% Tet McMillan right now. I think that his value goes up. I'm in until he hits. Like the week he hits, I should do very well. And if you watch the film, he will hit at some point. Yes, it sucks that he's tied to Bryce Young, who I also liked in the pre-draft stuff. But yeah, and I also had a bunch of Joe Mixon before we found out his foot was rotting, assuming that is true. So, like, for the overall best ball bags, things don't look awesome at the moment. And, like, at this point, it's pretty hard for them to keep hitting me with injuries that matter. Like, because they've hit a lot of them already. So I don't think anybody in this room is in the chat. But I'm going to do one more Wildcat after this, and then I'm definitely going to call it. Going to get some food, relax for a while. I need to do a bunch of Wildcat and hurry-ups tonight due to my scheduling. It looks like this Wildcat this week may actually fill quicker. Yeah, Pearsall's not expected to play. Pearsall's also, I had like 12.5% Pearsall. He's missed a bunch of time. I would love Steph Diggs here. Please give me Steph Diggs. Thank you. I will take Diggs. And do I want Waller? It's pretty hard to ignore what Waller's been doing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Maybe Drake May comes back. Maybe he doesn't. If he doesn't, I can always take Stafford or just a naked I don't know. We could take the Lamar Q tag. Yeah, if you join my Discord, I've been posting the news as I see it. And some other people also have been posting in there as they see news. Kevontae Turpin is officially, he's not officially out, but he doesn't expect to play this week. If you have him anywhere, that burns me because I feel like I was right. The slot matchup which Flournoy got, which was Turpin's role, which is also CeeDee Lamb's role, has absolutely cooked. or it cooked last week. The Naked Drake May. I don't hate it. Do I want to try the Lamar thing? I don't think I do. I think I just want to take the Matt Stafford, Devontae Adams stack here. Call it good. We are going to enter another one in 10 seconds. Wildcat, 10 seconds. And if you're not in the Discord and you wish to join the Discord, I can put the link in the chat for you. So this is a free lobby. Anybody can get in. Anybody who wants in can get in. There are 4 spots left. We got let's see. I'm gonna find the link for the fan speak. And also, I post when I go live, and if I'm on another channel, I also post it there too. Like in my Discord, if I'm going to be live on another channel, if you like my content, you can follow me around like a little groupie. It'd be awesome. I like groupies. So we got but yeah. But yeah, tonight I will be live there. I'm looking forward to it. It'll be a lot of fun. I need to start doing shorts though. I think next week I'm going to do shorts starting Sunday. I haven't actually got the 6-hole very often. So I've done like 20 of these. And like we go to this tab, I'll go to my exposures. Out of 19 of them, like I have 31% Taylor, 26% Puka. And then you look at the other people in that first round, and then I have a ton of Kyron Williams, a lot of Josh Jacobs, a bunch of Genty. And then wide receivers. I've been seeing you in a couple of my rooms. Were you in that room earlier where Peter Overzet was in it? And I had the 2-hole. The 1-hole took CMC. No, I had the 1-hole. I took JT. 2-hole took CMC. Overzet had the 5-hole. He got Puka. And it wrapped back around to get JSN. But then Genty went all the way back around to him. Because I got, yeah. So Genty fell all the way back. I didn't take him because Kyron was there. And I flipped those two. I think they were basically the same click. And then Trey McBride was still on the board. He got him in the 4th round. So, like, it was an awesome, like a Puka, JSN, Genty, Trey McBride lineup. That seems fun. I would like to get a lineup similar to that from the 5 or 6 hole sometime this week. That feels like something that could absolutely win the thing. Like right here, I think there's a clear drop-off at JSN. I think there's a top 5. I thought this last week too. But I think there's a clear drop-off at JSN to these guys. I don't even know if I like Achane at here. And this guy's auto-drafting, it looks like. So I am not getting JSN. I did get JSN. So we'll take JSN. And I'll go ahead and take Kyron. Got to line up with 5 first-rounder from preseason. Wildcat is mine this week. I mean, you take what'd you do? Take Puka or CMC. Obviously, CD Lamb, Jamar Chase. Who else? Who else did you get? I mean, how'd you get 5 first rounders? Are you counting Bowers as a first rounder? Puka CMC. You got a Puka CMC team? It would have been 4 because Bowers, if you count Bowers, I guess it would count. But there were no quarterbacks that went in the first round. But like, if you're considering Lamar because he's QB1, right? Like, I would smash Puka CMC every time I could. Like you have to take a tight end and a quarterback, and the top tight end was Bowers. And the top quarterback was Lamar or Josh Allen, and Josh Allen's not on the slate. But yeah, doesn't look like anybody here made it. McConkey, Chase, Puka, CMC, just 4. Yeah, like it. Considering that you can only draft 4 positions, that was a first rounder. I mean, it still seems fun, right? But I mean, Puka CMC is awesome, and Jamar Chase feels a little more alive with the quarterback change. I will actually skip on this time. I guess I'm gonna not take him. So Rico and Diggs. So Kyron, Rico, JSN, Diggs. I tend to take my quarterback, tight end, last round almost every draft. It feels like this week, it just feels like all the quarterbacks, including Prescott, are pretty much the same. Green Bay defense, only thing holding us back from yeah, exactly. I full faded Jamar Chase last week. It didn't turn out very good. I mean, it's Green Bay defense plus Bengals offensive line, right? Both of them. And, like, I think it's very possible that Joe Flacco throws a pick 6, which means that Jamar Chase gets back on the field faster, right? So I'm definitely going to mix in. I'll probably have like 9 to 10% Jamar Chase this week. I'm going to be overweight Steph Diggs. I'm going to be overweight Devontae Adams. I'm going to be overweight Puka. And I'm going to be overweight McMillan. Everybody else, I will kind of mix in with those players, I think. I basically want to try to leave every draft with a Ram of some sort if I can. Just like I'm fine. I'll look at it as my whole daily lineup is like a $400 bet that one of the Rams smashes. Because I don't really do – I do about $400 a week. Something like that between the DFS on DraftKings and the Wildcats that I do as well. I don't love the BRs. I would prefer to play the volume. I know I had a little bit of a hit week 1 being 5th in Wildcat, but I would like to play the entire season on that hit in case everything goes bad. So I'll just kind of stick to Wildcats a little more. So tight end here. I don't like any of the tight end scrolls this week, like the deep scrolls. I generally can find one that I like. I've been taking quite a bit of Tucker Kraft. I do like Tucker Kraft. And I've been taking more Darren Waller than I feel super comfortable with. So, like last week, AJ Barner and like they both got there. Do I want take Darnold here? Do I just want? I don't know. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and take the Sam Darnold. And I'll take Darren Waller. I'll make Darnold my little bit of a scroll there. I don't worry too much about if I got to split first place with somebody, guess what? I'm not going to be upset with it. I'm not going to be upset at all. Feels like the Waller builds up trust just to fail. Yeah, it's probably what's going to happen. And if we go look at my exposures here, I don't know if I love these. These are the only tight ends I've clicked. Okay, so Tucker Kraft, McBride, Warren, Henry, Tonjes, Waller. So I actually don't have a ton of Waller. Yeah, and if we go back to this, like, I need to definitely mix in Hunter Henry. I do really like the Henry thing. I just don't like Henry plus Diggs that much, right? So, because zero Ferguson, because I'm waiting on news, basically. And I honestly like Tucker Kraft this week more than Ferguson. Not that, I think they're basically the same play, but it's not like I'm going to end with zero Ferguson. I just haven't figured out, I don't love the swaps this week. And every time I've taken somebody who ends up with a Q tag, they've not played, and then my swaps are trash. That's what's happened every week that I've taken the Bowers or stuff like that to swap. I've always swapped to a bad option. So I've kind of leaned away from it. Like last week in Dog Bowl, I swapped my Kevontae Turpin to Jalen Tolbert and not Ryan Flournoy. Luckily, the team sucked anyway, and it didn't matter because if that would have been what would have that would have tilted me if I would have had the situation right. Yeah, I would lead a healthy Ferguson, but if he's got a Q tag already, he's definitely not healthy, right? So that's kind of what I view it. I do need to definitely mix in. Honestly, Ferguson, I've been taking Tedero McMillan over here a bunch. At pick 13, 14, 15, I've not once got Ferguson to fall back to this side whenever I've taken McMillan. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I can't find any either. And it could. No, I don't think anybody's found it. It makes me want, but he did. Schoonmaker did start playing in that game at the end of the game, at the end of the game last week. So, he played a little more. Let me bring up the usage real quick on that, because Schoonmaker did play a little bit at the end, a little more than you would expect. I need to. Oh, they've moved the. Okay, never mind. I can't find that. I need to just go get fantasy points. I was waiting for Neil Orfield to go live so I could ask him what his promo code was for fantasy points before I signed up for it. I will have it before tonight's episode. But mostly the reason I haven't got any Ferg is because I like McBride and Warren more than him. And Ferg just seems to go ahead of both of those in the drafts that I've been in. So I'm not actively fading him. But I will definitely make sure to have some Teteroa, McMillan, Ferg teams. I will go out of my way to make sure I do that. Yeah, and I prefer. So as of right now, like, because I'm only 23 drafts in, right? I'm going to get to like 100 to 150 drafts total. I'll start mixing in the players that I'm not taking now due to those reasons, and disregard ADP a little more, like a lot, in the later drafts of the week. Like right now, I think Kyron's of value, so I'm taking him a bunch. I think JT should be the 101, so I'm smashing him. And I think Genty and Jacobs are undervalued as well, so I'm smashing all of them. And I think Diggs and McMillan and Adams are absolute smashes, so I'm taking them almost every draft. I'm taking one of them. And then I'm just building around that. So that will change, I'm sure. I will definitely stop doing that to the extent I'm doing it now. Like, I think when projections comes out, like my bet right now is that when projections come out, all of those players move up the board, and I'm going to have some unique combinations. I've been wanting to get some Ferguson on the way back with the McMillan teams. It just hasn't happened yet. So, but I'm going to do some more tonight. Hopefully I can get that changed. Anyway, everybody, thanks for popping in. I want to head out. In 3 hours, I will be live on Fanspeak Network. I will see everybody there. And if not there, as soon as that is over, we'll be live back here with Candyman and Hartman for start sits, and I'll probably do a dog bowl. I think we're going to do a dog bowl every week on one person's account, and then if that wins, the person whose account it was on they get to go. And the following week, I think I like what Hartman said. The following week, the other two have to do one head to head, and the higher score gets the additional seat. I don't know if Candyman is okay with that, because Candyman's married, and maybe that has to. I believe he's married, at least. I'm pretty sure he is. So he'll have to talk with his wife and convince his wife that he can go by himself, kind of thing. I don't know how that's going to work. I don't know that situation, so I'm not going to speak on it. But I'll see everybody later. Have a great night. Peace.